I'm Chris. That's Tyler, and I'm trying to get refocused. We do have actual football this weekend, playoff football this weekend. That means something to me. I know that means something to you. That's my co-host Tyler. Tyler, what's good?
In a sports world that's been full of surprises this year, are you surprised that Brock Lesnar's daughter won the NCAA championship in the shot put?
No, water's wet. The sun comes up. People breathe. I mean, have you seen her?
Damn.
Just saying that. And hey, no DNA test needed for her. Anyway,
No.
if you had a button, an upset button, and you could force a single upset in the first round of the college football playoff, what upset are you forcing?
So you told me you were going to ask me this morning.
Want to give you some time to think about it.
And so I did. There's two ways I was going to go with this. And they're both involving one way is like what benefits Ohio State the most.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, what do I want to see as an Ohio State fan, the fan? So the first thing I thought of was I would want James Madison to beat Oregon because Oregon, I think, is a real threat. Like they're the real thing.
Okay, fair.
However, I didn't choose that. I want Miami to beat Texas A&M because I want to beat Miami.
Okay.
I need that. I want to remind Miami that 23 years ago, we banished you to hell, and I want to do it again. Because Miami fan crash outs are awesome crash outs.
I'm right there with you, kind of. I would love, actually, honestly, I would love to force that upset to guarantee we get Miami. I think there's a lot of storylines if we play Miami, and I'm a big storyline guy. I don't really feel any history with Texas A&M. I don't feel any hatred for A&M. A&M fans don't really annoy me. They were annoying for exactly one half of football, and it was the half when they dug their own hole and then came back and beat South Carolina, I believe. But like A&M fans don't hurt my soul. A&M fans kind of know their place. They shut the hell up. They go in their corner. They thought they were the number one team for a little bit. That was cool. That was awesome. That was fun. But that ended very quickly. And they don't really mean anything to me. For me, Miami, Jeremiah Smith, that's like his hometown college.
Mm-hmm.
We take kids out of there all the time. We have motion in Miami. And also my, love of maybe my favorite people ever, my favorite person ever is Tressel. And that is the most iconic game for me in Tressel's career outside of the Michigan game, I think. No, that's probably more iconic, but the Michigan game got more for me because I was older.
More iconic. It's definitely more iconic.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, and I always had to hear about Miami's back. And it's like, okay, you're back, and we're gonna send you back again. So I definitely can support that one. My mind and heart though go to Tulane. And part of it is because, look, if I have a button that I'm going to force an upset, I want to really force it because I don't know who's going to win the Miami A&M game. And so for my mindset is like, I think I'm like 65% sure Miami's going to beat A&M. So if I want to force an upset, I can get both those things. But that's a really good answer. I want to transition to Ohio State and their coaching staff. Big Dog. Right now, it's weird. It's like the distraction thing. I think Brian Hartline is back in Columbus right now, helping Ohio State get ready. It is clear. It has become super clear that he is not all the way invested in Ohio State. And how could you be? You are currently the head coach at USF, and that matters. I do not envy the head coaches that are doing both, right? John Sumrall is currently the head coach at Florida while he's in the playoffs. That's hard. Bob Chesney, currently the head coach at JMU, or head coach at UCLA, but he's coaching JMU. So, like, I don't envy those guys that have to do it. I want Brian Hartline to just focus on USF. I want to get your thoughts on it.
I agree. I'm going to say what I was going to say for a little bit later. Yeah, I just like, I don't need it. I don't need the distraction. And it's already a distraction. There's just too much going on with that situation. And it's a distraction. We just don't need it. Like, I don't need Ryan Day, the CEO, isn't a thing right now. Ryan Day, the offensive mastermind, is the thing right now. And that's who we need for the next 30 days.
1,000%.
I don't need Ryan Day to manage, when the portal comes open, he might need to put that hat back on, assuming that we're still playing.
Yeah.
But 95% of what we need for the next 30 days is him to be Ryan Day, the offensive genius.
I
And
agree. I had my
we don't need
thoughts.
Brian Hartline.
I told Doug and Bill this when I was on their show, like I think a month ago. And one of the things is like I want Ryan to take the sticks back, even if Brian Hartline was there and fully engaged, because I think he's the best. I think he's the best, especially like when there's time to prep. I think he's the best, and so I want him to take the sticks no matter what Brian Hartline was doing. Now that Brian Hartline took a job, my screaming for him to take the sticks is 3 decibels higher. Take the fucking sticks, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, and like keep the second tight end off the field.
Yeah, agree.
I'm willing to say it. If 85% of our plays the rest of the season involve 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end, we're going back to back.
Bingo. That's 100% fair. 100% fair. And yeah. Also, like, this is like selfish of me. I don't really want Brian Hartline in the building, and this is maybe a little bit unfair, but like I know he's going to offer people the job within the buildings. I know he's going to offer jobs within the building. I don't want him offering jobs while he's working on this playoff run and having coaches on our staff think about if they're going to take a USF job while getting ready for the playoffs. And look, it's one thing to offer somebody a job when you don't have to see their face every day. But offering someone a job and then having to see their face every single day, I think that could be a little bit more distracting. And obviously,
100%.
like to win one, you got to have everybody in alignment and you got to have the distractions out of the building. To go back to back, you need that maybe times 10. You need to like really put the barriers up and like and lock in. And I just worry about Brian Hartline. And also like Brian Hartline's going to be under a lot of pressure. First head coaching job, like you have to go win and go win pretty quickly because Golish had that program moving and you want to be next up, right? Because here we go.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're at. Hartline does not want to be at USF for the next 5 years.
No, and they just lost to Old Dominion.
Right. You don't want to be there for the next 5 years. You know who you want to be? When that Florida State job gets opened up, whenever that is,
next
you
year.
want USF to be in a good enough place where you can go get that job. And that means you have to have things moving the right way, right? So for me, it's like Brian Hartline, go hit the ground running, and the portal's about to open up, big dog. Don't you have portal stuff to go take care of?
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't even know why Brian Hartline what does he want this for?
Well, you know why you want it. 2014. What did they do once a drive? They cut to Tom Herman in the booth.
Yeah.
They cut to Tom in the booth. Next head coach at Houston. Calm plays. That kind of stuff does wonders, right, for recruiting. It's like great branding.
It didn't really help Tom Herman that much, but
what?
It did at Houston. It didn't help him at Texas.
Well, no, the branding is to land recruits. They landed the first ever 5-star in Houston history after that.
That's why I just corrected myself. I said it helped him at Houston. It didn't help him in Texas.
Yeah, well, nothing can save you from the horny monsters we've learned over the last 2 weeks. I mean, we got 2 coaches allegedly involved in extra stuff. You know,
so I laid out a couple of coaching moves that I would like. And the weird thing is it revolves around one coach, Billy Fessler.
Okay.
Because I have a with Billy and I have a without a Billy. And I don't know how you do it because you're not gonna fire Billy. But I also don't see Billy going to USF with Hartline. Correct?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going.
So my personal pick, and this is a long shot, and I almost changed because of how long shot it is. My replacement for Brian Hartline is Junior Adams, who is currently the receiver coach for the Dallas Cowboys, who was the receiver coach at Oregon. He's also been the receiving coach for a couple schools in the SEC. He's been out west. So he has covered a lot of ground across the country recruiting. He's also getting a flavor of the NFL. Now, I'm not naive enough to say or arrogant enough to say that the receiver coach at Ohio State's better than the receiver coach for the Dallas fucking Cowboys.
That's
just not true.
And then also the Cowboys have 2 top 5 receivers likely in the NFL right now. You don't have to recruit.
Correct. So, however, if if Billy Fessler stays, I do wonder if you give Junior Adams co-OC title or OC title, does that entice him to come back to college?
I don't think Co does because he left a co-OC job.
Correct. So I just wonder, like I said, this is a bit of a long shot. This is like my number one wish list type of guy.
Well, and you know who you have call him? Lachlan. See how ask Lachlan how the relationship wasn't there both at Oregon.
Yeah.
Call him, see if you can get through to him.
In that scenario, if you offer Junior Adams the OC job, Ryan's still probably going to call plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like I know
and there'll be no charade this time.
Yeah.
It won't be like a let him maybe. It would just be like Ryan's gonna call plays.
Yeah. Now, if there was a way for Billy Fesser to not be the quarterback's coach, I still want Junior Adams, but this makes this less likely because then I would want my quarterback coach and my offense coordinator to be Joe Moorhead.
Mm.
We are running a lot of RPO.
We are.
Joe Moorhead is like the godfather of RPO.
He is.
Billy Fesser comes from the umbrella of Joe Moorhead. If I'm going to run RPO, I'm just going to get the guy who knows it better than anybody.
I agree. And honestly, like I think you can do it and have him do tight ends and be the OC.
I don't think he would do would he actually come be the tight ends coach and OC? I don't think he would.
I think he might, as long as Billy's the quarterback coach, because him and Billy have such a connection. And it would kind of then
if that would be the case, that would be awesome. Then I can just move to key to receivers. Yeah. And like I'm also okay with moving key to receivers. I think Key has enough self-confidence, whether it's fake or not, to be a good recruiter. Like I think he can do it.
Well, and he's helped land guys like Benjamin Victor, and he's been really involved with guys like G. Scott. Like he's done a good job with those guys. Not the hyper elite prospects, but still, like Benjamin Victor was a highly recruited, like highly sought after player.
I do wonder. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Come to my head. I'm not worried about the recruiting of receivers.
Me either. I was just strengthening your argument.
Because, like, where are we getting receivers from?
Florida.
And who's the connection for us to Florida?
Pantone.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the misconception here, is that people think it's Heartline.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Pantone is the one with the connection.
Yeah, they built that. Now, obviously, like Brian, like playing down there helped, but also like Key's from there.
Correct. Also from there. But like as long as Mark Pantone's here, I think it's gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could convince Moorhead to come coach tight ends and be the OC, I think I would definitely be into that. One of the main reasons why I would love for Joe Moorhead to be the OC is Joe Moorhead was confident in himself enough to tell Nick Saban no.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he'd be able to handle when Ryan Day crashes out on the headset.
Mm-hmm. And like holistically, like he can be a head coach of the offense.
Correct.
And last time we had a head coach of the offense, we did what?
We won a natty.
And this time you would have head coach of offense and head coach of defense. I think that would let Ryan Day, having those two things taken care of, he can transform this holistically into the Ryan Day program that he's always wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. And make no mistake about it, like it's always going to be the Ryan Day passing offense.
Right.
I don't ever want that to go away. I think it's fantastic. Now, but I do want him to be this because I don't want to go back to our head coach being a play. If I can avoid it, if I can find somebody that can call plays at an elite level that's not named Ryan Day, I want that because I think we operate at a higher level.
Agreed.
But if we can't, I'm okay as well. So, Junior Adams is my pick to replace Brian Hartline. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Do I think it's worth Ryan Day making that phone call? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So,
now where are you at with Brian Daboll?
I would love for Brian Daboll. I just don't think I think he's a one and done.
I agree. I think I want Moorhead unless I can get a multi-year commitment from Daboll.
Yeah. I just don't. I think that'd be a very hard sell for Ryan to get him to commit to 2 years.
Agreed. Especially if he hates it.
I don't think he would hate it.
Me either.
How could you hate it? You're gonna have Jeremiah and Quincy Porter, and then in year 2 you have Quincy Porter and Chris Henry Jr.
Well, if you hate having to do
What?
the Paul, well, here's the thing. We're talking about like an NFL head coach very freshly. Like obviously Matt Patricia had a year off. But if you go from like, well, if I'm here for multiple years, I got to deal with kids texting and calling my phone. And that's one thing that I've heard NFL coaches, especially head coaches, dislike strongly.
Yeah.
That's the part of it. Like that's what you hate. That's what you would hate.
Yeah, I think for Dable, like
his last stint in college was 2017.
Yeah. And the game is different now.
Agreed. I know. I was just saying that.
So, again, though, what do you do with Billy Fessler? Because like Dable is a quarterback guy.
I mean, Dable, everything. Like, here's the thing, dude. Like, when you've gone to the NFL for that long, Dable coached receivers, quarterbacks, was an OC, was a tight ends coach with the Patriots in 2016. Like those guys coach everything.
Yeah. I just would want his hands all over TSC as much as possible. Pause.
And that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I understand that.
I want him molding and like helping TSC's development.
Yeah, because that's where the value is, right? Because
Correct.
like we've seen what he's done with Josh Allen, with the quarterback room at Alabama, obviously in 2017. That was
I just don't think you can get 2 years out of him. So it's like,
yeah,
what do you do there?
Right.
Do you want to keep doing this over and over and over again? Because eventually you're going to miss.
Eventually
he'll swing and miss.
You want a multi-year guy. You just do.
Yeah. Sure. And I think Moorhead could be here for a while.
I think so too. I think you get Moorhead for a while.
Which would be awesome. Mm. So, speaking of coordinator firings and hirings, Stevie done fired Pete, hired Muschamp.
Dude, I'm blown away. I mean, I texted you like WTF, right? Like I was like, oh my God. Like I'm very high. I think Pete's awesome.
Yeah, I do too. Like
Texas DC was fired today on my way home from work, and they hired Muschamp immediately. Like they did the search before they fired him. And that one, I mean, if you're going to fire Pete, you got to have a replacement really quickly. But I think it's a big mistake by Sark. But I was blown away they fired Pete Kwiatkowski.
I think Muschamp he's really good. I'm not saying Muschamp's not a good DC. It just to me is like I'm looking at Sark like it seems like you're like casting blame somewhere else.
Right.
Like, dog, this was a you problem.
100%.
Your offense stunk. And so you want to make a change, but you don't want to change the thing that was really the problem. So what are we doing here?
I don't know.
If I'm Pete, I'm like, okay, fine. I'll take my X amount of $1 million and I'll go coach somewhere else quickly, like super fast.
I mean, he'll have a job really fast, man.
I bet you he has a job before the new year.
For real.
I bet you. I might even say before Christmas.
I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like that. I'm looking around.
If you're a DC at a big time college, and you were even a little disappointed, you should be very nervous.
Yeah, dude. Like, well, I'm looking at like Penn State. Like, they just hired their DCs. It's like, dang, like if this would happen a little bit sooner. It's kind of late in the cycle, but
yeah. But Matt Campbell was gonna hire a guy. Like,
if
you're Lincoln Riley, well, no, USC's defensive coordinator is going somewhere else. He's about to get poached by shit. USC's defensive coordinator was trying to like interview for another job. So if you're Lincoln Riley, like you just fire that guy and you
Penn State was going after D'Anton Lynn. Yeah.
That's what it was. So like if you're Lincoln Riley, like, dog, just like
go.
Yeah, what?
Go. We'll get Pete.
I mean, you know who's the most excited that Texas no longer has Pete? Jeremiah Smith.
Dude, in 2 games against Pete Kwiatkowski and that defense, you know his combined stats?
Wasn't it like 5 catches for like 50 yards.
Under 50 yards, 46 yards,
Yeah.
2 games combined.
Yeah.
Looking around like
That zone defense had Ohio State's passing offense in hell.
literally, if I'm Ryan Day, I'm flying Pete Kwiatkowski up and just having him be an analyst and just picking his brain on like what he does to passing attack stuff. Because look, like, there's been games this year where Texas has looked suspect on defense, but they've been out there a lot. We also know when it's time to like lock in and get it going, they're really good on defense. And Pete Kwiatkowski is kind of famous for like it's like the 2-3 zone. Like they do a really good job. So like if I'm Ryan Day, I'm flying Pete up here just to pick his brain on what you saw, what you did, how you did it the same way that look, after Tom Herman left Ohio State, you know what he did? Got on the phone with the coaches at Bama.
Yeah,
gave him the sauce.
Yeah.
Give me the sauce, Pete.
Yeah, especially like knowing that like Texas has to go as hosting Ohio State. That would piss Sark off a lot.
Mm-hmm. Like I would have Pete first flight up, straight up, just to talk to him. Like I know we don't have a spot on the staff.
Send the jet. What?
Yeah, I don't send the jet for nobody.
That's true.
That was send that for nobody.
I do think it's I think I'm looking at Sark like Bubba. You are deflecting.
Looking at Sark like this better work, big dog.
It has to work.
It has to work. You better get this right.
I feel way better about us going down to Austin next fall than I did before 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, that'll be wild. That was a wild firing and hiring.
Crazy. What else you got for me, big dog?
All right, well, let's get into the games. So I bunched in the JMU Oregon and the Tulane Ole Miss game because the other thing that I just thought of that are working against these G5 schools in the playoffs, and it's happening in both of these games. When these G5 teams make the playoffs, what do you think is happening to that coach?
They're up out of there.
He's getting poached.
Both of them.
Like, it's just another knock like, dog, this is just it's going to make it very hard for these G5 schools to compete in these games. Like, you can't tell me, right? There's nobody that can look me in the eye and tell me that Summerall and what's-his-face are planning their best game plan possible.
Don't disrespect Bob Chesney like that.
Bob Chesney. I couldn't think of his name off the top of my head.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I just remember because Kenny Chesney.
Oh, Chesney and Summerall. You can't tell me that they're doing their very best. You can't. There's nothing you can tell me to make me believe you.
I agree. I don't but keep going because I'm ready for this conversation.
Something that's just something to think about.
Yeah.
The question I have for these two games, there's 2 questions. One, can you name me an upset that would rival one of these upsets?
Appalachian State, Michigan.
That's the one I thought of too. In the playoffs, with the brighter lights, 21-point favorite for Oregon, 17.5-point favorite for Ole Miss.
I mean, Boise State, Oklahoma.
Yeah. Statue of Liberty play.
Yeah.
That's up there too. How close do one of these games need to be to make it worth it? To justify this for all the small school haters?
42-17. That's all. That's all I need to do.
No, man.
You know why? You know why?
Why?
Did anybody say that Tennessee should have been in the playoffs last year? This whole idea that G5 should be left out because we're trying to avoid blowouts when we loved last year's playoffs is insane. Tennessee came in and got their doors blown off, and it was just business as usual. But here's the thing, Tyler. Those teams that sneak in that 10, 11, 12, they are deeply flawed teams. That's why they're 10 or 11, 12, and they're liable to get blown the hell out. Right? That's the thing that people aren't talking about. It's like your whole thing is we want to avoid blowouts. Well, guess what? Like,
I'm not. My thing isn't about the blowouts. It's not. I don't really care. I would like to see, because the thing about it too is I think the winner of Oklahoma Alabama is going to get blown out by Indiana. I think Ole Miss is going to get blown out by Georgia. So like there's going to be more blowouts.
Dude, we just see blowouts in playoffs, and that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
Like
I do think
42-17, 38-10, 31-14, 41-21, 23-10 even.
no, that's all. I don't really care. My thing is the closer I get to this, the issue that I have is the journey that the G5 has to go through is not the same journey. And so I think what I would like to see moving forward is I would like to see the G5 play 2 P4 opponents in the regular season.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about like having to go play Ohio State and Georgia. Just go play anybody in the P4. Like let us see it. Prove it. Because the journey is just not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not. And we talk about the journey and like how teams need to run their race, but when the race is so different, that's my thing.
Yeah, and to JMU's credit, JMU tried.
Yeah, no, I and there's nothing. There's if the big schools are too afraid to play these teams, then shame on whatever. Then you're
the issue is we need scheduling to catch up because when James Madison scheduled Washington State, we were
that's true.
They were P5.
What is this is a side question. What do you think about moving bowl games to the beginning of the next season, and that's one of your non-conference games?
That'd be cool. It's weird. It's weird in theory
you play it as a neutral site game,
and
that's your week 1 opponent, and it takes the schedule. And there's different fun ways you can go about doing it. And in the argument against it is like, well, the teams are so different, and the bowl games are a reflection of the season, and you're starting them at the next season where the teams are different. But it's like,
yeah,
that's fine. I'm okay with that. But
it's weird. It's weird. Also,
Michigan and Texas are playing.
They are. That would be a great game.
How cool would it be to see them? Now, can you imagine being Texas and then we play Michigan and then play Ohio State back to back? It was just it's been a conversation a topic of conversation.
Do you Tulane played 2 Power 5 teams, by the way.
Yep. Did they beat who? They didn't win either one of those games.
Yes, they did. They beat Duke, ACC champion Duke.
Oh, they did beat Duke. Sorry, they lost to
Ole Miss.
They
beat they're one of Duke's losses. They beat Duke 34-27.
See to me, okay, I'm into
the
it.
ACC champion. Yeah, they beat the ACC champion. Now I don't like that they got a rematch with Ole Miss, but whatever. And it's funny. Let's talk about who Tulane's quarterback is.
Was the BYU quarterback?
Yeah, the BYU kid. Yeah, Retzlaff.
Yeah. So it's just
they played 3 Power 5 opponents.
And that's fine. I'm just saying, as a moving forward, if you want to be in the conversation, and really have a leg to stand on, go and schedule those teams.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with Tulane. You're right. Tulane beat Northwestern, Duke. They lost to Ole Miss, but then they also beat North Texas at the end of the year, a ranked team.
Yeah. So and that's why I'm okay with this year. I'm okay with it, and it is what it is. Because if the rankings, the rankings, how they seeded this year is allowing this to happen. There's going to be blowouts on New Year's Day.
Always.
Don't get it fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody thinks that Oklahoma or Alabama aren't going to get their doors blown off by Indiana are lying and coping
hard. And
it's just the way that it is. So to me, I wanted to ask you that question. It's sort of I'm throwing you a layup. I'm just throwing you an alley-oop for you to dunk, because I knew that was going to be your kind of response. Yeah. I would just like to see if the G5 wants to make the real argument, schedule the proper way, so that your journey is comparable to the journeys of the P4 teams.
It's fair. I mean, I'm not pushing back at all.
So, but that being said, I still expect Oregon to cover, and I expect Ole Miss to cover.
Yeah, I do as well. I think those both can get ugly.
I think Tulane might play better than they played the first time, but I think Oregon's going to do something real nasty to JMU.
Yeah, I think Tulane has a better shot for the upset.
I think I would say Tulane loses by 3 touchdowns. I think Oregon beats JMU by 40.
21 versus 40, double or nothing.
I don't see a way where JMU keeps it close. But Tulane, I think Tulane can go into halftime down a touchdown, down 10, something like that. But then the depth is going to catch up, the talent's going to catch up. It's.
Well, you just wonder what this Ole Miss team looks like without Lane Kiffin too.
And I also wish that the playoff committee and the TV networks could just do the right thing and move the Miami Texas A&M game tonight. Let those two be the appetizers and have the main dish. Now we got the main dish, and then we're going to eat appetizers.
I agree on the scheduling side of things.
So, all right, that's good. That was that could have gotten spicy, and it was fine. It was good.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're same wavelength. We spent a lot of time talking together. Bama, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma -1.5. This was a tough one. So, Oklahoma's going for their 3rd win in 13 months against Alabama.
Which is nuts. That's
How crazy is that?
That's crazy as hell.
And they're also going for their first playoff win in a program history. Because both times they've been in, they've gotten their cheeks smacked.
No.
Except for the one time. The one time they did, the one time they didn't.
The Georgia game was one of the great playoff games.
It was. But the one time they did get in, they got smacked around.
By LSU.
Yeah. Joe Burrow threw 7 touchdown passes in the first.
That was disgusting. He snapped on him, dog. He blew them out. All right, so who do you got and how?
So I've
got Oklahoma.
So the tough thing is Ty Simpson's health.
Yeah, that's not healthy, and they can't run the ball.
If he's not healthy, I don't know what they're gonna do. If he was healthy, I think I would pick Alabama.
Yeah.
I think DeBoer is a better coach than Brent Venables. You're the better coach, the better quarterback. Your defense is good enough. I just can't see Oklahoma losing for the 3rd time, or Alabama losing for the 3rd time in 13 months.
That would be nuts.
But Ty Simpson's not healthy.
Mm-mm.
And Oklahoma's defense is real, really real.
And Ty Simpson's not being healthy, and Alabama's going to have to be one-dimensional because they can't run the ball. That screams playing right into Brent Venables' hands. Because John Mateer might only have to score 17 points.
Yeah, he might have to, he honestly might need to score 14 points, and the defense will spot them another 7.
Yeah.
Just by field position from a turnover.
Right.
So it's can you give me 2 scoring drives, and we'll give you another one? Because if Ty Simpson's not healthy, man, they have no chance.
Dude, they say that back is really bugging him, dude.
I think it's so bad that he might come back to school.
Oh, his back?
I think people are talking about, I saw it today, that this game might dictate whether Ty Simpson goes to the NFL or comes back to school.
I was so early on that he's quarterback 3. I was so early.
Yeah. And I don't.
Here's the thing, Tyler. Next year's quarterback draft is shark infested. He needs to go this year.
Yeah, probably.
Next year's shark infested for real.
But, he started the year throwing 22 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
He finished the year with 26 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
His last 3 games, he threw 4 touchdowns and 3 picks.
Bingo.
I don't know, man. It's this is a tough one. But
it's not tough. I got Oklahoma. I know it goes against the losing to the same team twice, but I don't think Alabama has the horses. Which is a wild sentence to say.
What's funny is I wrote down taking Bama, and I think I just talked myself into taking Oklahoma.
I'll take credit for talking you into it.
I did most of the talking, so I'm going to give myself the credit.
See, never want to give me any credit, man.
I literally threw you a fucking alley-oop dunk for you like 5 minutes ago.
Dog, I don't need. I'm Tracy McGrady. I can score 9 points with no assists. I'm good. That was a T Mac reference. That's because that's T Mac to that side of me.
Listen, man. This is what I'm talking about. This is what the people don't quite see. You're going to get your own channel, and now people are going to see the real you. The real you.
People know what it is.
Give me Oklahoma. The over-under is 40.5. I might take the under.
Take the under. No, I'll take the over with time. And it's funny because usually I feel like time benefits the offensive-minded coaches, but I'm just so down on like the Alabama run game and Ty Simpson health. Because like normally, like if it's like a DC with time and an OC with time, I'm always picking the OC. But for right now, like, I just have no confidence in Bama, and it's a weird feeling.
If Bama loses, does DeBoer go to Michigan?
Mm-mm.
I don't either.
He was never going to that lame school, dude.
All right. The big one. The one that we're all the most interested in.
You know what? Real quick, before we move on, I hope they lose, and I hope he still doesn't go to Michigan, so then Michigan fans don't have an excuse and they can't run from it.
I sent out a quote tweet of somebody, Michigan account was tweeting about what they would do. And I just asked, like, in what world would an established head coach leave their program for a school that doesn't have a president, who's about to not have an athletic director? I think.
They said they're sticking by him. I don't know. I don't know how you.
I don't know how you stick by him. And a school that's been in the news for all the wrong reasons for a half a decade.
Mm-hmm.
What is enticing about that?
Nothing.
Like, again, I said it on Monday night. Just because you have Larry Ellison doesn't mean shit to me.
Larry Ellison does not like football, so like that's
that money can go away like that. Because if he just wakes up, and is like, why am I doing this? I don't even care about this.
Right.
Also, all these big schools got money, man. It doesn't
Everybody
matter.
does.
It's a prerequisite. Like, if you want to be a player, you got to have the money. To step foot in the room, if you want to get in the club, you got to pay.
Or to Chris Brown.
And but like, just because you're in the club doesn't mean nothing. So I just threw that out there. Anyways, Miami at Texas A&M. This is the best game of the weekend, and it's played tomorrow night. Texas A&M is -3.5. From a football fan perspective, from a football analyst perspective, okay, put your analyst hat on. If you're Ohio State, who do you want to play?
You prefer Miami if you're going to play the two.
As a football analyst.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. I think I would prefer Texas A&M.
Okay.
From a football perspective, I think their defense is just like not that good.
Well, I guess you know where I'm at with this. Why I'm Miami?
Why?
Because I think from a football perspective, the only thing that I think scares me is a team with the ability to spread it out and take shot up shot for shot. And like A&M, they can do that. And I'm thinking about like what Charlie Becker did to the secondary. And not saying that I would expect A&M or Miami to rip up the secondary, but the team that I think that would have more success against the secondary would be A&M. And I also think that Carson Beck is going to be seeing ghosts and doesn't have the athleticism to give you the nightmare fuel that a Marcel Reed does.
So I'll hear you on the Marcel Reed thing. But you just said that, you makes you wonder about the shot after shot after shot like Indiana took. Indiana still only scored 13 points.
No, I know. I'm just saying,
there's zero reality that Ohio State doesn't score at least 24 points against Texas A&M defense, even with multiple tight ends.
No, I'd agree, but this A&M offense is way more dynamic than the Indiana offense. Like, way more dynamic. Like, they got more explosive receivers, and they have a nightmare fuel quarterback.
I just trust Matt Patricia more than anything.
So do I. No, so do I.
I just think Miami has the trench play that makes me nervous. I think they can run the ball. I think they can stop their defensive line is big and nasty and makes some problems. And Carson Beck being a veteran, like what happens if you get 2023 Carson Beck? That's a problem. Now, if you get 2024 Carson Beck, like we win the game by 3 touchdowns and it doesn't matter.
No version of Carson Beck concerns me at all.
I mean, a good Carson Beck is a good quarterback.
And also, like, Texas A&M's rushing game is way better than Miami's.
It's a different type. It's a different type of game.
They've in the same amount of games they've ran for over 500 more yards.
I think the main reason why is I think we would score more points against Texas A&M than we would against Miami.
I do too. I just think it's more likely that Carson Beck, like, I think Matt Patricia is going to be more effective against Carson Beck because what's Matt Patricia's thing? Like, make guys see ghosts. Guys that are athletes,
Sure. Yeah, but we have answers for that.
We do. No, I agree. But it's like, here we go. All right. What quarterback is more nightmare fuel, Marcel Reed or Carson Beck?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that Carson Beck's more nightmare fuel.
Because like even if it's the version of Carson Beck that you're thinking about, Marcel Reed, this version's better than him.
Yeah. Again, my thing is when we have the ball. Yeah, I think we have a bigger advantage against Texas A&M's defense than we would against Miami's defense.
I mean, I think we get off against Miami too, and it'd be fun though, right? Jameer Brown.
Yeah. Now, put your fan hat on. I think we both agree we want to play Miami.
Yeah, we said earlier.
We already said
Miami. I want Miami.
Which program needs this win more?
Miami.
I agree.
They're a laughing stock. A&M's not a laughing stock.
Miami needs to win a playoff game.
Yeah, because like everybody just like waits for Miami to fuck up. Like no one feels that way about A&M.
And I don't think Miami needs to win this game to like validate their selection. I don't think that's a real thing.
No, that's not a thing.
I think that they need to win this game for their program because the last 23 years, it's been a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
For a program that finds it's to like that bleeds it to be an elite program.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because people wait for Miami to mess up.
Yeah.
So, no, that's real.
Not bad.
That was a good show. That was quick.
Who do you want to do projections for like our full bracket or no?
Give me your winner, and then we'll go row by row after.
I mean, you know I'm going to take Ohio State to win.
All right, who's your championship? I'm saying.
I actually have Oregon beating Indiana.
So you got Oregon, Ohio State, Natty.
I do.
Ooh, the Dan Lanning revenge game. That'd be really cool.
I do feel like, and I hope I'm not wrong. I hope Dan Lanning doesn't like prove me wrong here, but I think Dan Lanning is gonna he's gonna insert himself into the chat of like the top, in that conversation.
Well, I firmly believe that like Dan Lanning getting beat like that, a lot of people think that it broke him. I think that turned him into a supervillain. I think coaches like that, when you get beat like that, like you are just like waiting for your next crack at somebody.
I do think that the Oregon Texas Tech game will be the best game of the second round.
I agree.
By a long shot.
That's the one I'm most excited about, other than our game,
because I think Texas Tech is a problem. Will be a problem for Oregon, because that defense. Like, that'll be a huge NFL game for Dante Moore. Mm-hmm. Big time NFL game for Dante Moore.
He can lock up quarterback one with the great performance against them.
Well, I don't know about that, because he still has to go play the other. If they win, he'd have to go play the other quarterback that's in the conversation.
But I don't think the quarterback versus quarterback thing ever comes into play.
No, but like if Dante Moore looks bad against Indiana and Fernando Menez looks good again against Oregon, like it's like, okay, I'm going to take the guy that won that game twice, right?
That's fair, but dog, we saw Josh Rosen take care of Sam Darnold.
I think you're the last person to bring up Josh Rosen.
I love Josh Rosen. He was supposed to be great, but I'm saying Josh Rosen outplayed Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold still went for like earlier in that draft.
I do think, though, you know how we said last year that the Texas Ohio State game was the natty?
Yeah.
I think the Georgia-Ohio State game will be the natty.
That's fair to say.
Because I think Georgia's physicality, because we texted each other during the Georgia-Alabama SEC title game. I said, Georgia be thumping.
The backers are back, dude.
They hit. And I think Ohio State is built to handle that. I don't know if the other two schools are ready for that level of physicality.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because we've stood toe to toe with them with the physical. We play, the Ohio State has played those games before.
Yeah.
And looked SEC thumpers in the eye.
No, I think Indiana and Oregon both beat Georgia, actually.
I don't know. If Kirby Smart beats Ohio State, I think they're going to feel like they're invincible.
And I think the winner of that Oregon-Indiana game is going to feel invincible.
I don't know. Either way, I think it's going to be a fantastic. I think if we get the Final Four that we're talking about, it's the 4 best teams in the country, and I think it'll be fantastic.
That's
true or false?
No, I mean that's true. I can sense a little bit of the SEC residue just like lingering inside you. And I'm just
no, it's not. I literally just said 3 Big Ten teams and the one SEC.
I know it's just weird. The rhetoric around Georgia is like a little bit of residue just like stuck in there.
Listen, we both.
I just got a whiff of it.
That's fine. You can have it with it. I just think Kirby Smart and Georgia are a very physical football team. That's all I said. Have I not said all year long that Georgia's offense stinks?
You said their whole team was food last time we talked, so I'm just like confused.
No, I said their offense is food, and I said their defense looks like it's back. That's exactly what I said, word for goddamn word. We talked about it. The backers are back. They're thumping.
Yeah, the backs thumping.
I still think I've said from the very beginning of the season that Georgia's offense stinks.
So is that the natty or not, man? I just want to know.
Yeah, I'm still stand by it's the natty.
All right. You got it, partner. I'm Chris. That's Tyler.
Peace.